How's it going, everyone? Wayne the Unknown here, and welcome to another episode of Cosplay Con Talk, where we basically discuss everything pertaining to the cosplay community and conventions. Tonight, we are doing another segment on Get to Know That Cosplayer, and tonight's guest is Captain Banana Butt.
Hi guys, nice to be here. I'm excited to do this podcast.
So, before we begin, I gotta ask, where'd you come up with the handle name? I'm like kind of curious.
So I've had the handle since about seventh grade. It was when I first started like gaming and like League of Legends and stuff. So it was like my gaming handle. I was never really a big gamer, but that's kind of like I made it in seventh grade. I loved Cap'n Crunch. My name's Hannah, so I grew up with banana after my name like my whole life. So I was like Cap'n Banana and then Butts, because why not?
Why? I mean, the
So
like.
I ended up not gaming as much anymore, and then when I started cosplaying, I'm like, I've been known as Captain Banana Butt since seventh grade. I might as well keep it, and then it just became my cosplay name, and that's what everyone knows me as. So it's it's
I mean,
it's my name.
the past few interviews I've done, they're like a good majority of the cosplayers I've interviewed. They always have like some kind of interesting name. Well, that's Captain Banana Butt's definitely like up there.
Yeah. Oh, every time I do an event and they announce my name, like everyone just laughs, and that's like my favorite part, is because they know something silly is about to happen, and I love it.
So to begin, like most interviews I've done, how long have you been cosplaying for? What was your very first con? And do you remember your very first cosplay?
Oh my gosh. So we don't talk about that, but just kidding. My very first convention was actually KimuraCon 2012. It was still in Vancouver. Um, I did like a sailor outfit with like a pink pigtail wig, and I called it Ichigo from Tokyo Mew Mew because I was very new to everything. I didn't know how to do wigs or makeup or anything. So between 2012 and like 2015, I kind of just floated to cons with family. I wasn't really super big into it. But then 2016 was kind of like the big turning point for me. I made my very first gown for my senior project in high school, actually. And that kind of got me thinking, like, oh my gosh, I love sewing and creating. So I really started seriously cosplaying and like making my own costumes in 2016.
So roughly like 5 years
Yeah,
now.
I would say that.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
What was your very first build for your cosplay that you started making by yourself back then?
Yeah, so that was actually a Renaissance era gown. And what's funny is the senior project was like, oh, take 20 hours, learn to do something, have fun. And then I'm like, okay, I'll just make this giant gown. It took me like 45 hours, way too much work.
That's at least a good almost three,
I
roughly
like,
like 3 days or so. 5 days,
yeah, I
4.
mean, it was intense, and it was my very first sewing project, and I went way in over my head, but it turned out wonderful. I still wear it today, so like it was kind of just a really fun journey, and it got me into what I'm doing now, so I appreciate it. But I only got a B on my senior project, so I'm a little salty about that because I worked really hard.
I mean,
Ah,
at least you had
but
fun. At least you had
whatever.
fun, right? Making the.
Absolutely, yeah. What can you do?
I mean, gotta do what you gotta do. So what would you say aside from your Renaissance, when it comes to cosplaying? What would you say your biggest cosplay project was?
Ooh, as to date, definitely my Breath of the Wild Zelda. I did her winter outfit, which is like the white and gold outfit, and it was just a lot of stuff I've never done before. A lot of like heat transfer vinyl work, a lot of foam work, a lot of leather. So that's definitely the hardest one. And that one I actually got done in like less than a week because con crunch and I procrastinate. So I was literally finishing her up the day I was leaving for con, of course. But
It,
she turned out really well. I'm really proud of her. But definitely her for sure. She's very detailed, and I it took a lot, but I was impressed with her.
I've come to notice that's what a lot of people do, especially those who make their own cosplay, is that the con crunch is real, and they'll always get done like 2 hours or an hour before the con, and then they're just super tired that they just want to walk it, just not do anything else at the con.
Yeah, me personally, I just work better under pressure, so I kind of like wait. As much as I hate waiting, but I really do work better under
So
pressure,
you
and I'm
do it
like,
deliberately
oh, my
then.
train. Yeah, kind of. I think subconsciously because like my train leaves in 7 hours. I don't have a cosplay, so like I better get it done because if I don't, then I don't have a cosplay. But like, I work on like little bits here and there. Like I made the Sheikah slate like months in advance, like when I first decided I wanted to cosplay Zelda. So that was done, but that was like the only thing I had done.
No, the
So
Sheikah
like I'll do like
Slate
little tiny bits here and there, but like the main like the full course meal like isn't done until like very last minute.
and the Sheikah
I'm
Slate,
trying to
that's
get
like their
better
little
though.
tablet, right?
Yeah, it's like the little map tablet that they use, but I'm trying to get better. Like now I'm trying to like work on cosplays a few months in advance, but it's slow going.
Especially with the pandemic and everything, and no cons, being in order.
Oh,
But
I know. I was in the beginning I got kind of excited. I'm like, "Oh, yes, no work. Like I can just work on cosplay." But then the motivation never came to me because I'm like, "Well, there's no cons." So I got like nothing done this whole pandemic. And I'm really sad about it because I thought it'd be a really good time to get stuff done, but like the motivation just never came to me, unfortunately.
never there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been tough.
But I imagine with now cons coming back, a lot of people are like, finally, I can wear that one cosplay I wanted to wear like a year ago or something.
Oh, exactly. And there's been like so much more because there's been a bunch of new animes coming out. So now I have like so many new ones I want to do, but then I had so many old ones I want to do. So I'm just like, oh my gosh.
It's crazy.
The list is long. Yeah.
So, what
Oh,
was it
good.
like going to what was like going to KomoriCon back in 2012?
Oh my goodness. It was like a whole different convention, I feel, because a lot of people didn't start going to Kumo until like they moved to Portland and in the convention center. But I really miss the old location because we had like Esther Short Park, which was like this beautiful park outside with a beautiful like clock tower and like a farmer's market. And we also had like two hotels. So we pretty much had like that whole chunk of area and it was like really, really nice. Maybe I'm just biased because it was like my first con.
I
But
mean,
I really did enjoy it, but it was kind of like a whole new world looking back because like I didn't know anyone. I like didn't have any skills in cosplaying, but everyone was still so accepting and so sweet. I like look back at some of the video like photo montages on YouTube and I see myself and I'm like, "Oh God, who is that?" But like I don't have any like bad memories. Like everyone was just so like friendly and just like it was amazing coming into it like not having any friends like because I went with my mom or like my mom would drop me off for a few hours and then I kind of just milled around but I was never bored. I would always like meet new people and like it was just a really really good time.
I think that's always like a good thing, especially with other cosplayers I've talked to, like their first cons are always kind of like nerve wracking because it's something new, they've never done it before, and it's like you said, it's like it's basically a whole new world for them.
Oh yeah, and there's just so many people for sure.
Now for let's see here. What would you say your least favorite cosplay was that you've done? Like you've worn it once, but it was just like okay, it was kind of a one and done kind of deal for you.
Oh my goodness. So I don't want to offend anybody, but it was probably Deku from Boku no Hero. And not because I don't like Deku. I loved being Deku and I love his character. But it was kind of like some of the interactions I got as Deku kind of turned me off to it. I got a few too many weird toga cosplayers coming up and doing very weird things to me as Deku. Um, and as I'm fine with like in character interactions, like permission first is always
Well, yeah,
great.
because cosplay
And
doesn't
then
equal consent.
also yeah, it's also weird because I look very young, but I'm not a minor. I'm 23. So when these minors come up to me and they're like, "Oh, look at this cute little Deku," like, and they like start touching me weird, I'm like, "Girl, you're a minor. I'm not. This is really weird. Like, please."
Yeah,
It makes me
no,
uncomfortable.
I've heard stories of
It's
of
strange.
how bizarre and weird that fandom can be. To anyone who likes My Hero Academia, I'm not crapping on it.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
I've just heard some horror stories.
Yeah, and I feel like there's those fans in every fandom, but I felt it the most in Boku no Hero, and then I didn't even like continue watching the show. It was kind of like just like
It kind
I
of
was really off put, so
it kind
I
of it kind of
got
ruined
rid
it
of
for
Deku,
you.
never watched it again. Yeah, it's just like
Yeah,
I'll let them
see,
have their fun.
that's just you see, people shouldn't have to do that. Like, don't ruin someone else's fun. Especially when it comes to
Hmm.
cosplaying, like, don't they like the character? Don't ruin it for them. Like,
Yeah,
I've
absolutely.
seen a good majority of that, and it's just like, why? Don't
'Cause
like.
there's so many people who would do like fun in character photos and interactions, but like you definitely should like ask first and like confirm that it's okay before you just come up and like, oh my goodness. But yeah, there's plenty of people, unfortunately, in every fandom like that.
Oh no, most definitely. So, let's see here. What would you say your most fun cosplay was? Like, it's a cosplay you haven't done in so long that if you had the chance, you would bring it back.
That would have to be Naruto. My very first, like my debut cosplay as Captain Banana Butt was in Naruto. So now everyone knows me like, oh, Captain Banana Butt, that's the funny Naruto. So like definitely, probably that one. Just because I can have so much fun as Naruto. He's so goofy and silly, which is like pretty much who I am. So I don't have to like act in any way, and everyone's just like, oh my gosh, Naruto, because it's so like iconic and just like everyone grew up with Naruto pretty well, not everyone. Some people chose to watch like Sailor Moon, which is fine, but I was a Naruto girl. So like it's just really fun seeing 'cause there's like so many fans, old and new. So definitely Naruto. Also, I would have to say I cosplay SpongeBob, like a humanoid SpongeBob, and that one's always fun because people kind of look at me and they like take in my outfit and they kind of like do a double take and they're like, "Oh my gosh, are you SpongeBob?" And I'm like, "Yes." And then it's so fun. Well, there's so many. I try not to cosplay characters that I can't have fun in, because I put a lot of time and money and like effort into them. So if I don't absolutely love them to the moon and back, I try not to cosplay them. So it's really hard to choose. But those are two that definitely stand out to me, just because they're just, I can just have fun and be myself and just have a really good time.
That's always good as long as you're having fun in the cosplay and everything. Which brings me to my next question: have you ever had a cosplay that you felt so uncomfortable and like it just like just wearing it just wasn't like what you would expect it to be?
Oh my gosh, probably. Let me think. I would definitely probably have to say, well, there's two that kind of didn't work out as I had planned. I did a Light Fury cosplay from How to Train Your Dragon, and she came out really pretty and like dainty and everything, but she definitely didn't fit and move how I wanted her to. Like things kept like flipping over and getting stuck on themselves, and it was just like a nightmare. And anytime I had to like go on an escalator, I was like panicked because everything was like dragging on the ground, and I was like terrified it would like suck me in. Um, so there's that one. And then another one would have to be oh my goodness, I just had it. Hold on, let me think. Oh my goodness. Ooh, that might have been it actually. I think that's the only one I've been like traumatized in.
I mean, I've come to notice with long with dresses that have long cosplay dresses. There's always that fear of someone stepping on it or getting caught in something, and you just hear that.
Oh, I know. Oh my goodness. Well, I have like love-hate relationships with escalators because I was cosplaying Eloise Trancy to Kumo actually. It was a few years ago, and my heel got stuck in the little slots and it broke my heel off. And I was like on my way to a photo shoot before my panel, so I literally had no shoes because the escalator broke my heel. And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Oh
So
no.
I've always been like, because I know they can do damage, so I've always been like worried about it. But I did see this amazing, I think she was doing like Sailor Moon in that really pretty gown, but like it was a really big gown and she was going up an escalator. And then she kind of like squatted down. I'm like, what is she gonna do? And then she had this amazing contraption under her dress that was she like lifted it up as like a garbage bag. So she just like picked up all of her poop in this tiny little bag and like could walk up this escalator. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is such a good idea. It just carried all the poop for her. And I'm like, oh my gosh, top level, top tier. I was really impressed. So
I
if I ever wear a long gown like that, I might have to rig something up like that because that was really smart.
I feel like, and I had this conversation in a previous podcast how cosplayers always will learn something from other cosplayers.
Hmm.
Whether they're veteran cosplayers, new cosplayers, whatever your skill level, I feel like you're always learning something new, and I'm sure, like you said, that's gonna come in handy if you ever do like a big poofy dress for your cosplays.
Oh, absolutely. Because everyone has, I know I kind of like Jimmy rig the weirdest stuff because I use what I have and I try to like upcycle a lot. So there's definitely like really sketchy things that I do, but they work. So I mean, as long as it works, so everyone has their own like take on creativity. So it's definitely a really ever-growing field of learning because like everyone does something differently and everyone can look at a character and make something different because they have different views and perspectives. So it's like really, really cool to see like someone else could be cosplaying the same character, but they did something completely different, but it works. And then it's like, oh my gosh, that's so much better than mine. So it's just like it's really cool to see everyone's take on characters and how they build stuff.
Nice. So, back to your Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild cosplay. What did you use to make the Sheikah slate?
Yeah, so I actually used it's all just EVA foam. It's like three or four, actually, it might even be five layers. And then I just kind of wood glued it together and then sanded the heck out of it and then painted it. And then all the little emblems and symbols are just clay, like oven baked clay. Um, and I think that's pretty much it. And then the actual handle is like a wood dowel, just because I wanted that to be sturdy and strong. Pretty much just foam and wood and clay and lots of paint.
Nice. And how long did that take you to make?
Oh my goodness, it was my first actual prop build, so probably I think I worked on it over the course of like a whole week, a few hours a day. I think the most time consuming was the sanding, just because there was a lot of layers and a lot of wood glue or wood filler. It's different, but it took a lot of sanding, and it had to be like the perfect shape. And then all the little clay pieces took a while too. So probably, oh my goodness, like maybe like 50 or so hours if I'm like guessing, but it over the course of a week, like every day, a little on it every day.
Nice.
Oh my goodness. It was fun though. And I learned a lot, so that's nice.
So we got about 14 more minutes to go. Do you have any stories you'd like to share, like any cosplay horror stories, any kind of funny stories, stuff like that, when either getting ready for a cosplay, while cosplaying, or going to the convention?
Oh my goodness. Other than my heel breaking, that was kind of like the most traumatic, but let me think. I'm sure there's something. There was one funny interaction I had in a con. I was doing my Light Fury cosplay, which is very like obscure. Not a lot of people would like guess Light Fury, I guess, unless I was with my Toothless. Then people got it, but someone like looked at me like, "Oh, you're so pretty," and I'm like, "Oh, thank you." They're like, "What Pokemon are you?" And I'm just kind of like I tried not I tried really hard not to like be offended because like of course like I kind of looked like a Pokemon, but I'm just like, oh, I'm not a Pokemon. It was really sweet though. It was like this like older lady. She was probably there with her kids or something, but it was just really really funny. And I love interactions like that. Even if they're wrong, it's still really funny. And she was like so supportive. Um, she just guessed wrong, but it's the kindness and the compliment that counts.
I mean,
Oh my goodness.
I think we've all been there when we see cosplayers. Like, we may not know it. It looks cool, but then there we will get you like, oh, that's cool, so and so. Then it's like, well, that's actually not. And
Mhm.
I've seen
Oh my
cosplayers
goodness.
where they'll get offended, and they'll like let you know that they were offended by your comment of saying the wrong name of their character.
It's like I don't mean to offend you. I promise. Oh my goodness. But another story I can remember, it wasn't at con, but I was dressed as Naruto and I had left the con to get Taco Bell because, take care of yourself,
Oh
eat
yeah,
good at
always,
con.
always, definitely, because the food
So
at cons to be expensive.
Oh, absolutely. So I was in Taco Bell and they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's Naruto." Because they kind of knew of the convention because like how can you not? And they actually gave me my whole meal free because I was cosplaying Naruto and it was really funny. They were like, "Naruto doesn't pay here." And I'm like, "Well, thank you." Free
Ah,
food. I like it. I should have like ordered more, but it was really funny. Just
I'm.
like I miss it so much.
I mean, that's. I mean, I've never heard of that before. Where you go to a you're dressed up in cosplay from going to a con and then you get free food. That is, I imagine that's
Yeah,
like
I had never either. It made my day.
apparently
So that means I have more money to spend.
The people at Taco Bell must have been serious Naruto fans if if they gave you food for free.
Oh, absolutely. They must have been. It was hilarious, but I definitely thanked them. And everyone in line behind me was like jealous.
Like,
They
how
were
dare
like,
you?
"Well, can I get free food?" It was really funny.
Uh, so, another question I like to ask, because we got a couple minutes here. What are your thoughts on thrifting for your cosplays?
Oh my goodness, I would not be where I am without thrift shops. I get like I want to say like a very, very large majority of stuff from thrift shops, whether it's just fabric to reuse or like shorts for cosplay. 'Cause I'm not very good at making pants. And then a lot of the cosplays come with not the best pants, or they might not fit me the best.
I
So
know
I
that.
can
I know
find
that.
like pieces here and there, like shoes or like shorts or like a tank top. Like you can find so much stuff, even like belts. Like I found so many real leather belts that I've been able to carve for cosplays at Goodwill or like at other thrift stores. So it's like really, really amazing that you can go and find things that you can use for a lot cheaper than buying them new. Plus retail, um, why support large giant companies if you can just buy the same thing for way cheaper, you know?
Oh no. Most definitely. I mean, from experience, I've ordered a full cos. I've ordered like two full cosplays from eBay, and either the shirt or something was just not right, so I had to like improvise and
Yeah,
actually.
exactly. Or you can't find like the perfect shoes, but then you happen to go in and they have like the perfect shoes. Like that's happened to me a bunch, and I'm just like, it's meant to be.
No.
It's definitely a very great tool. I recommend it. Not that there's anything wrong with buying cosplays and buying stuff new, but I just prefer saving a few bucks and like it's kind of fun modifying things and making them your own and being
Especially if you're
able
on a
to like
budget.
give them a new life. Oh, exactly. Absolutely. And I was not working for like the first half of my cosplay career, because I was still in like school and stuff, so that definitely helped. And even still, I I don't have a lot of money to cosplay, but like even that helps even today. So it's definitely a good tool, and everyone should stop by their local thrift store and see what they can find,
Oh,
especially
yeah.
during Halloween. You can find some really cool stuff for Halloween time.
Always
Like I
support your
find like
local
full
shops and
cosplays all the
everything.
time. Yeah, absolutely. It's really cool.
Now, we got about 8 minutes to go. Do you have like any future cosplays planned for later down the road, like a character you've always wanted to cosplay but never had the chance to because either there was too much or just wasn't in demand right away?
Yes. So I have two. Well, I've had three dream cosplays pretty much my whole cosplay career. The first one I've been able to do already, which was Ichigo from Tokyo Mew Mew, but like the real version, not some weird one I threw out of my head. But like I did that with an actual whole Tokyo Mew Mew group, and it was like the best in my entire life, like a dream come true. It was so amazing. So now that I've got her knocked out, I have Lady Amalthea from The Last Unicorn. That's like my big comfort movie. So like being able to like be Lady Amalthea would be a dream come true. I'm just kind of hesitant because I have all the fabric, I have the pattern. I just her dress, it seems simple, but I feel like it's a lot harder. So I'm like terrified of ruining all this beautiful fabric that I have. So I'm kind of like hesitant. But I definitely want to do her for StalkerCon, if it's happening. So I definitely have to start her at some point soon, maybe, hopefully. But she's definitely one I want to do. And then my top tier goal that I probably wouldn't be able to do now just because I don't have experience in armor is Fran from Final Fantasy. Um, I don't know if you're familiar, but her build is just mostly armor.
Oh,
Um,
I'm familiar with her,
yeah,
especially
she's
with
a
her
badass warrior bunny. Yep,
her
she's
boots.
amazing. She's absolutely like top tier. I would love to do her, but I have very little experience with foam armor. So it's going to be a very large project that I want to dedicate a lot of time and money into because I want her to be amazing. I actually started learning how to make chainmail for her, and I'm pretty good at making chainmail, but like it's the foam that scares me, which is funny.
I mean, not to mention
But she
you got her ears, and then she's got that her long freaking hair.
The
as well.
ponytail, yeah, that's also what I'm not excited about. I don't like long wigs very much. So a very long, heavy ponytail, I'm not super stoked about. But like honestly, I will do it because I love her so much.
Oh, I know she's
One
definitely
day I will do her.
she's an intricate cosplay. Not to mention, she also got her bow and arrow too that she uses in the
Oh,
game.
absolutely. Yeah, it's insane. It's definitely like any Fran cosplayer, kudos. Like I could never do it. Like I want to. I will eventually, but like it's a lot and I'm very impressed with like everyone who even attempts it because oh my goodness.
No, I hear you on that. I have a few cosplay characters I would love to cosplay from Final Fantasy as well.
Oh yeah, I all the character designs are like outstanding and
So
like
dang.
it's so hard to choose a favorite. It's also like Vanille. I love Vanille and she's a lot more simpler, so I might do her too. I have like a lot of stuff for her, but like also like Sarah Farron, I have stuff for her too. It's just like so many Final Fantasy characters I love so much.
Oh yeah, no, I hear you.
It's hard to choose.
No, it definitely is. So we got a couple minutes to go. Any advice you like to give for first-time cosplayers or first-time con goers that you like to
Oh
throw
my
out
goodness,
there?
there's a few things. I would definitely say come over prepared because a lot of people think, "Oh, I'll just be at con for a few hours. How bad can it be?" But a lot of people don't realize how crowded it is, how long the lines can be. So always come over prepared with like snacks, something to drink, a change of comfy shoes because I can't tell you how many times I've been in heels and hated life because I didn't have my flats on me. And a lot of cons are concrete, so you're standing on concrete for like 12 hours a day. It's not comfortable. So just come with like over preparedness. And then also, I would definitely say don't go to cons alone. That was kind of like my mistake in the beginning. And I did make friends here and there, but it's also just safer to go at least with one other person. And then it can just make the con that much more fun with another person. So definitely like in a group or even just with one other and then like food and water and comfortable shoes is my biggest tips just to make the experience great.
I feel like, and this is something I always say when that is brought up, always, and to quote Finding Nemo, make sure when you go to your first con or any con that you've never gone to, always bring an exit buddy.
Absolutely. There's just too many people and like it's just really kind of scary on your own because like where do I go? I don't know anyone. Like it's so easy to get lost. It's just a lot safer and a lot smarter just to go with someone, and then it's more fun too. And then you have someone to like hold your bag while you use the bathroom because like that's what I came across a lot is like I don't want to leave my bag and my stuff out while I use the bathroom. So it's like it's just really helpful to like have another person or in a group because group cosplays are so much fun. But yeah, definitely being alone is a little intimidating, unless you like solidarity and you are brave. But I definitely recommend a buddy at least.
No, no. Most I can't stress that enough, especially for someone who's actually, went to their first con with friends. Like I've only been to probably
Hmm.
one con by myself. But yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if you're like a minor. If you're like a child, if you're like 14, don't go alone.
Go
If
with a
you're
group of
15,
friends or
don't
your
go alone.
family.
Yeah, if you're 17, don't go alone. Like even if you're 23 like me, don't go alone. Like it's just you never know like what's gonna happen, and it's always just safer to have a buddy system.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I
Hmm.
think that should about wrap it up. Again, thank you, Hannah, for coming on and sharing your cosplay journey and experience, along with some helpful tips, and also looking forward to see those future cosplays eventually one of these days.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for inviting me. It was fun to have a con talk.
Oh yeah,
Thank you
no.
so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. Again, everyone, I am Wayne the Unknown. Thank you for listening to this episode of Con Talks. Get to know that cosplayer. Until next time, thank you for listening, and thank you for watching.